Yeah, you've gone on from what you said to me. There can only things of beauty, and that will keep me.
Cancer, this is your June 2016 forecast reading. We're starting with love and partnerships, then we'll move on to the general forecast. Your first card that comes up is the Give Your Relationship a Chance card. And this says your relationship is worth the time and effort. It says to work through, commit, and communicate to this relationship or in this relationship. Also be prepared to have a look at the part that you play in the dynamics of this relationship. We always talk about relationships between two people, especially romantic relationships. There's a third person in there, an entity that forms due to the relationship. So it's the two of you relating forms this ball of energy, this entity that requires participation from both of you, and it has its own character. And it's always terribly interesting to observe someone else's relationship. It's a lot more difficult to see it in your own relationships. But if you pay attention to someone else's relationship, especially a long-term relationship, without judgment, just observe with no judgment whatsoever, you will notice the specific patterns that are repeated over and over again. It's almost Pavlov's dog's response. You know, the one does this, the other one does that. If the one does that, the other one does this. And it's those kind of responses maybe to take a look at this month for Cancer. There could be those kind of responses that are creating a negative impact on your relationships. And it's simply a thing of changing those responses that you have, and your partner will follow suit. It's as simple as that. Well, you need to recognize them first. That's not the simple part. But it's definitely worth having a look at that. And for those of you looking for partnerships and relationships, that's also worth looking at. You might have repetitive patterns that you use when you are trying to find a new partner or when you're just starting a new partnership or relationship. So take the time, take the effort to notice what they are, and to think of perhaps you can do things a bit differently, and that will change the outcome. Because the next card, what you learn, is that card about whipping things into shape, about taking that action, that discipline, that notice, that dedicated effort to change something, to better it up, basically. Because the outcome card in your partnerships and relationships says if you hold love too tightly, it will die, and love will fly if held too lightly. I think for some Cancerians, there's a little bit of holding on too tightly, and you're having these sort of almost knee-jerk responses because you're holding on so tightly. That's fear-based. We know that's fear-based. We all have it. But to realize you're perhaps killing the romance. You're throttling the life out of the romance. So let go a little, all right? Back off a little. And perhaps for others of you, you're not paying enough attention to the responses of your spouse or your partner. And because of that, they're drifting away from you. So Cancer, those are your lessons for this month. And you can learn balance, I think, and to have a partner that will respond to you in a way that you like. I think that's what you can get this month. Now, your general forecast reading, the energy that comes in is that of intuition. And this is to use your intuition because you will receive information this month which, at a first glance, when you first receive it, doesn't seem to make sense. But keep that information in mind, keep the message in mind, because it's going to open doors for you, this first card says. Because what you are going to learn is that you have the potential for contentment. Now, contentment is actually the holy grail when it comes to emotions. Happiness is great, contentment's even better. Says this month, especially if you learn to appreciate what you have. Now, appreciating what you have has to do with that relationship aspect as well, doesn't it? It's not turning your partner or trying to control your partner or wanting your partner to behave in a certain manner. It's appreciating them for exactly as and who they are. Therein you will find contentment. Now, the final card that comes up in this part of the reading is another moon. I always associate Cancerians with the moon. They have a moon-like face. If you look at a Cancerian, you will see they have a moon-like face. And this card is saying that what you can earn from having learned is that if you listen to your intuition and perhaps take on an attitude or a path you haven't tried before, you'll be amazed at what you discover. And that information coming in with that first card is leading to this as well. There is an awakening. It's more than an aha moment. It's bigger than that. And it has to do with your intuition. It has to do with listening to it. It has to do with opening a door or heading down a path that you have not tried before, that has perhaps been there before. And now your intuition, your higher self, God, Spirit, Universe, is giving you some kind of indication to walk that way or open that door, because there's something on the other side of it that is going to change the way you see things. And when you change the way you see things, your life alters completely. Now, your archetype card for this month. I've explained this in the other videos, what the archetype is. In case you haven't watched any of them, let me explain again. Archetype are energies that have been with us since the beginning of time. So no matter if fashion change, time changes, attitudes change, these energies remain constant. And ancient civilizations and cultures created characters out of these energies, archetypal characters. They flesh them out. This particular deck of cards shows them really beautiful. They're quite fantastical, quite magical. And the archetype for Cancer for June is Hermes. That is a communication. And the message coming through here, it's time to develop emotional intelligence and integrity. So I think this aha, it's not an aha moment, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than an aha moment. It's going to come together with emotional growth, which has to do with emotional intelligence, and maintaining your integrity. Now, if you coerce your partner, be this business, platonic, romantic, whatever, into doing something by manipulation, or you're doing things that you know is making your partner unhappy, your integrity is suffering, isn't it? You know you wouldn't like to be treated this way yourself, and that's what integrity is all about, isn't it? So that's something to have a look at, right? Now, your Lion Wisdom card says that triumph. It says the outcome you hoped for has the potential to materialize. Hold your focus, have faith, and maintain your integrity. So there it comes through again. So I'm reckoning you guys are off to something. I'm reckoning it is partnership and relationship based on some level. And that to use your intuition, but to follow integrity to get what it is, because you can get it. But don't resort to methods that are better not used, okay? Now, your soul path card is that of the magpie. And this says, things may not be as they seem. They may be even better. Not often that you hear that. It's time to reveal your hidden gems. Now, your guidance card, I'm going to flip onto the guidance card because these two have to do with each other. It says, beauty is unveiled by the lustrous light within. And your soul path card is asking you to reveal your hidden gems. Within you is an inner light, an inner beauty. We all have it. It's there. This month is asking you to bring that out in some way. Something you're doing, some way, something you need to do, something you're starting with, perhaps leading on a path. Needs that inner light, that jewel within you. That's something that you haven't revealed before. You need to reveal that. I think it's going to be quite specific to each Cancerian and whatever path they're on at the moment. Those are the messages coming through for you this month, Cancer, of June in 2016. I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you for watching this.
So when I let it go, I knew it had to be taking things about nobody, and that will keep me moving on. And I'm not afraid of those words. I'm not afraid to be heard. The two words. I'm not afraid. I have gone on from all the time we had, leveled off and forgot the man, and that will keep me moving on. So when you let it go and you calm it down, let it breathe and just turn around, and that will keep